Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. I'm so sorry for the delay, guys. We had some issues starting out today, unfortunately. So I think that we got those sorted out. But let's dive right into it. So we're going to start out here in regression mode. So we've had kind of a slow market coming up to the last hour of the day. Hopefully we get kind of an expansion in volatility here. But at the moment, we're just looking at a very, very range-bound market here. I highly suggest you guys, if you guys have OneDrive installed on your computer, to disable it, because that thing, it's useless. It just moves around your files randomly, and that's what happened to me. So that was a real pain to fix, but also, guys, do want to let you guys know, I switched to 31 range instead of 32 because a 31 range is actually a 32 range. On a 32 range, it'll show an extra tick on each one, and that was leading the footprint bars to not show full data, or show an extra line, and it just didn't look good, and it just wasn't as accurate as it could be. So that's why I did that. Still a little bit under the weather, guys. Sorry about that. I think we're probably gonna keep it at keep our profit target at 14 and our stop loss at 14 as well, just like before. I just changed it, so we're moving over to that. We still have our auto trail, by the way. Looks like we get filled here into our first trade, and we get filled very, very quickly on that. 14 is a little bit short there, but we'll see. We might actually have a trend mode switch here. However, that trade was in the long direction. You can see here right after 12 o'clock, we're starting to get an expansion volatility here. Yana asked, hello, you usually often say if it hits my stop, I said it's a regression, but if it's target, I hit trend. Can you add some kind of checkbox for traditional auto trade if hit stop hits? So absolutely, but I do want to actually clarify what I meant here. So I use a trade outcome as a confirming factor of a range exit or a range entrance. So let's say we have a trade right here, and we are going to exit this range. If we exit that range with a profit target outside of that, we would switch it into trend mode. And if we re-entered it with a profit target in there, we'd keep it in regression. If we stopped out inside of this range, we'd put it into regression, and likewise the other way around. So just want to say that obviously if you lose a trade, that doesn't mean you should just switch. It's very situationally dependent. Looks like we may exit a range here and go into a downtrend. We may need to do a trend mode switch. However, our delta divergence is there. Yeah, I'm going to switch it into trend mode at this point. We're getting a lot of imbalances on the left side there. Paul says, the candle that's currently forming is like two forming. You can see almost overlapping of numbers. I'm guessing that's not right, as yours doesn't do that. So that would be the pullback bar. If you don't want those two candles, the second candle forming, just disable the pullback bar. I was on 18 tick profit today and did very well. Thank you, Kevin, for letting me know about that. It sure would have been nice if we got to trade with that earlier today, but unfortunately, we did have those issues. My mic is echoing. Interesting. Okay. Let me know, guys, if my mic is still echoing. Move moved it a little bit further away. How about now? I think that should be good. All right, awesome. Thank you, Christopher. For you, do you trading like now? Do you change the min stack and balance those down to 1 or keep it at 2? I'd turn it down to 1. However, you'd raise adversary detection. You'd see that we're not really getting a trend here. You'd see that we had a delta divergence here, and we're starting to get one right here. So entropy is high and way back here as well. So it would be foolish for us to continue in trend mode. We just wanted to be opportunistic and try and catch a downturn, but we're just gonna keep it back into regression mode. This person asked, how are the boxes forming around the numbers, like the yellow box around 170G? My chart doesn't do that. You just need to uncheck, or you need to enable show absorption. That'll show you, that'll enable that feature. If you're getting more fills than I am when I'm not, you definitely need to increase your adversary detection or increase your minimum imbalance volume. As you can see, the actual volume per tick right now is very, very high comparatively to before. First day trading ATI and NQ on Sim, made 1,000 first hour of open. That is awesome to hear. I am so glad that you're starting to figure that out. Great job. Hopefully we have kind of a more exciting end of the market day, but we'll see. Hi Connor, thank you for what you do for us. In addition to NQ, please live trade ES as well, as that's what I mainly focus on and can learn from you. Please use a headset if possible, as the volume of your voice comes very low on our end, even when I crank the volume up all the way. Thank you. I can definitely start trading ES again. I've just been looking at it and there's just been a lot less opportunities recently, but if I can come up with a hyper scalping strategy for ES, that can definitely be in the cards. And I can definitely turn up the volume a little bit, and I can look into getting a headset. Just generally, when I've bought headsets, they've had somewhat subpar mic quality, but the acoustics of the room I'm in are not great in the first place. So you get kind of an echoey effect with this big microphone. So I should probably get a headset at this point. Have you applied the Monte Carlo simulation on the results based on the strategy, and what would be its theoretical performance, if you don't mind me asking? We did run a Monte Carlo simulation. We've run extensive simulations on what the results are in terms of back testing and forward testing. I can definitely get those numbers for you. It's just that would require me opening up an SQL file right now, and I don't really want to tab out my trading to do that at the moment. We did do a video on the back testing that we did on this and all the testing that went into it. So that could help out right now, but I can definitely get you that data. It's just not as accessible to me as I would like it to be, at least while I'm trading. Hey Connor, when you have multiple losses, when do you call it quit for that day? So generally, if the losses are extremely out of the norm, if I'm getting filled very, very quickly over and over again into trades and they're just all losing, I'll absolutely, that's a reason to call it for the day. Or if I'm only getting filled like maybe once or twice every 30 minutes and they're losing, I'll definitely call it off that day too. That happened on our first Q&A where we lost 900. It was a great stream. I definitely was able to connect with you guys a lot more, but it just wasn't a great trading day. Guys, I'm not liking what I'm seeing here. This is a little bit sad. Really getting almost no movement, and we're getting lots of candles forming, but it's just not forming up. And we're getting pretty good volume too. We'll just have to stick with it though. Thank you, Mason. I do appreciate the link. I'll definitely check that out. What's the ETA on machine learning? We're really trying to squeeze it out by the end of the month, but we just have we want the user flow to be as simple as possible to where there's really no hiccups or friction points. We want this to be we want users to be able to train a machine learning model and use the existing machine learning model with very little experience or knowledge or any knowledge at all on machine learning. So that's a pretty big task. That also includes the educational aspect of it. So we're really trying to smooth out the UX at this point. It's done in terms of software functionality. It just needs to be smoothed out a little bit. So I'd say the ETA on that is about 14 days out for a full release. We're probably going to do a beta release too. And I'll let you guys know about that along with an application for the beta. Hi Connor, just joined and set up the chart and the ATI, but the buttons are not showing up on my NT8 chart trader. What am I doing wrong? So no worries. This is a very common issue that we have new users run into. It's likely that if you right click the chart and then go to strategy and then polarity ATI and you add it to your chart, you have to make sure that you scroll down to the bottom of Polarity ATI and check the enable box. If you don't do that, it's not going to show up on the right hand side. You can see here that we're getting a breakout at this point, and we've had at least somewhat correlated delta over the past 4 bars. I mean, it's really not incredible, but at this point we are going to switch it into trend mode. Daily Grands, I see you, and I do have your email. I will email you with how we can fix that. You don't have to pay the full price if you're a current owner of Polarity and need the AC4 Plus. There's a loyalty discount. Would have been nice there if we could get some kind of fill. Totally missed out on that huge move. I really hope that everything's configured properly. I mean, we had to do a full reinstall in NinjaTrader with all new settings, or not new settings, but just new installation, and to mirror exactly what it was, because it just completely screwed us over. So a little bit anxious about that. Sarah Laura says, I just had 2 consecutive winners. You can see we just got filled there into a long trade. Almost missed out on that one. Here, got to keep my strategy arm there. So that's our first trade, or second trade of the day there. Super great that we got a consecutive win. We'll see here if we start encountering some resistance at this point. We don't have a range yet, though, so we'll have to keep it in trend mode at this point. We may actually just get a very, very quick V-shaped downtrend. We are starting to encounter some chop here. This may be a good opportunity to switch into regression if we get a upward fill here. Or not an upward fill, sorry about that. A candle that is bullish. Because that would be 3 consecutive bars in a row that are adjacent. Yeah, it's going to give us a regression switch there. Regarding the ML models that you just mentioned, where do I get more info on that? Please also, when ready, is there an additional charge to use it, or do we require any installation to enable the ML models on my computer? Thank you. So you are going to have to update it by installing a new version of Polarity, but no, we're not charging for existing users to use it. We see this as something that should have been existing at the beginning, and we just want to make everyone whole by providing that. If you increase adversary ratio more, then I get less fills, right? Yes, that's correct. Hey Connor, I was one of the early users of Polarity. Is there any plans to apply the ML model when to switch certain settings around? That is actually what the machine learning model does. It's going to automatically switch settings, so you're not even going to have to manage them at all anymore. Kevin, thank you. That is very sweet of you to say. I appreciate that a lot. I will say though that it is frustrating that we're not getting any trades here. See here that we have a trend mode switch at this point outside of this range. Did the morning hours with higher volatility and volume produce more trades? Does that not have an effect on the signals? Absolutely. So the time of day you trade is not really going to affect the win rate. It's just going to affect the amount of trades you get over a certain period of time. So trading in the morning hours, you're going to get a lot faster sessions. I mean, most of the sessions that I was doing from 6:30, which was market open for me, they were only about 15-minute long sessions. So I was done with the day very, very quickly. Later in the day, it's a little bit longer. Can you explain what current Polarity ATI and AC4 Plus users will be getting? I think you said there'd be a loyalty discount for AC4 Plus, and what update is coming for Polarity ATI? So that was just from someone who only had the Analytica chart for base, and they just needed the loyalty discount. All of the updates that we're coming out with are going to be complimentary for Polarity users and AC4 users. We don't have anything in the work specifically for the Analytica chart for Plus, but yes, the update. The update for Polarity is the machine learning update, by the way. Mortimer, to answer your question, yes, it will be free if you own Polarity. Hey Jorge, you asked with the new machine learning update, would that change the ATM settings as well? And would the ML update provide a higher alpha without too much user interaction? So the update shipping from stock, the first update we push will not include that. It also will be unlikely to include automatic trend regression switch. We'll see. We don't know if we want to include that in the first push that we do, but that won't be in the initial launch. But that can definitely, machine learning has the capabilities to do that. And that would be a very simple integration into the current model. It's interesting because there's a lot of movement, but just not enough to get us into trades here, which is just a bummer. Will the model be included in the NinjaScript code, or is it going to be hosted externally and accessed via an API? So the model is going to be locally hosted on your computer, but it will not be through NinjaScript, but it'll be an external program that's hooked into NinjaTrader. What package do I need to get for the ML update? Any of them. Any of the polarity packages will include that. However, if you need a footprint chart, you do need the stage 2 or the stage 3. All right, we may see the start of a downtrend here. So as far as pushing it into trend mode right there. We have a video on how to set up the machine learning polarity when it comes out. Yes, it will be very simple for existing users, and it's only as complex as you want it to be. We're going to offer a lot of potential functionality for advanced users who want to train their own model, but the model is going to come pre-trained, and then you guys are going to be able to feed it data from your trades to improve it. Then it's just going to do that automatically in the background. It's going to be a very simple installation, but yes, we will do a video on that. Are you making the trend versus regression choices manually, or the software switch automatically? That is a manual selection. You're seeing whenever I switch from trend to regression, that is me clicking that, but the executions are automatic. Did you switch to 31 range? Yes, I did switch to 31 range. I talked about it in the beginning of the stream, but if you joined later, I can see why you'd be a little confused. Teams using diagonal imbalances on the Analytico chart here. I think a tutorial video is using horizontal imbalance in MQ. So that's just going to be visual. That's actually not going to affect the trading behavior. James Morningstar said, will ML have the ability to change or suggest the absorption ratios, etc.? Yes, it will. It will have the ability to change settings on the fly, including absorption ratio. Does polarity work with any footprint chart? Yes, it does. Because polarity does not directly hook into a footprint chart. it has its own footprint chart or own order flow algorithm inside of it. It does not rely on any other footprint chart, meaning you can use it with anyone. Any reason for the 31 range today? Yes. We did that for a visual fix. So a 31 range is actually technically a 32 range. So it's going to be 32 ticks per candle because on a 32 range, it just showed an extra tick to close the bar. So on this one, you can notice that we don't have any half ticks that are protruding out the tops or bottoms of the candles. Is it possible to mess up the model flow experience of the system? Unlikely. It's just gonna hook into what the market is doing. It's not really going to be dependent on your individual trading experience at all. And you can always just revert to default if you need to. And in the beginning, it will not auto switch from regression to trend. Hopefully we see the last 30 minutes is getting volatility really kicked up here, but if you're trading the strategy incorrectly / unprofitably, will it cause the ML model to adapt / learn to incorrect settings lead to incorrect fills? So the way it works is that the machine learning model receives a reward when you win trades and when it correctly predicts volatility. And when you lose trades or it incorrectly predicts volatility, it is punished, or it rewards are taken away from it. It loses a point. It's not really possible to mess it up if you are trading it incorrectly and unprofitably, if you understand what I'm saying. B. Yang said, have you ever thought about trading for other people's money? I mean, I've definitely thought about opening a hedge fund, but that would be a very far in the future type excursion. And that would just be for big investors. I'm not super interested in trading retail money. Also, the legality of that is very questionable. And also the ethicality of that, I think, is very questionable, because in trading, there are no guarantees, and trusting yourself with other people's money who cannot afford to lose it is, I just think that's a little bit, personally, it does not sit right with me. So I don't have any interest in trading other people's money who are not at least accredited investors. And I don't even have the qualifications to do it at this point, so. Connor, I wish you were located somewhere in the Central or East Coast time zone so you could have traded the market open at 9:30 a.m. as we'll have more quicker fills. You know what? Me too. I really don't like having to wake up early to trade market open. That's just super sucky. But unfortunately, that's the current situation. So. Looks like my OBS is showing red. Hope that's not too big of a concern. Hope everything's coming through loud and clear. I love that you were on the West Coast as I cannot get up early to trade the open either. Well, thank you. I'm glad that there is an upside there. It's not. There's a bit of lag slash choppiness in your voice. That is unfortunate. I'm gonna try and get this resolved. I have struggled with bad internet my entire life, so we'll see how that goes. Stream seems to be buffering a lot now. I also think this is because I'm using the fastest processing speed for the stream, so I think that's stressing that a little bit too. If you enter a previous regression area, in order for it to be considered a mode switch, you also need to confirm that with a high entropy or entropy correlating to what you want to switch to. Is a better way to put it. I think that would be the other way I was saying it was a little bit too broad. I'll just out these questions. Do you have any settings to work on GCCL or any other commodities? We do provide them. If you'd like them, just shoot me an email. And if you don't have them, but we don't necessarily suggest it, just because commodities can become very unhinged from order flow data, and there'll be a lot of unexplainable price movements. No, I really don't know what's going on right now. I don't know why I'm not getting filled in trades here. Man, my bit rate is just suffering. I really hope it's not screwing up the stream too bad. I live in Hawaii. Trading the opens are brutal. Oh man, I bet that is rough. Every time I visit Hawaii, I just take the whole day off, pretty much. Don't even look at the markets.